Welcome to day 2 of the 7-day detox, specifically the Mung Bean Soup detox. Man, it's been a day. It's been a very full day. It's been a very long day. I feel like, again, whenever you stop eating or you eat very little and lighter, you're again just way more present. I feel like this has been an extremely productive day. I feel like a lot of abundance has flowed through today in many ways, which I'll elaborate on. And overall, feeling really good. I still definitely have cravings whenever, especially when I'm around other people who are eating food. And I just have to be aware of, just have a higher authority be like, nope, we're in a detox. And I love you. I just tell my body, like, I love you. So there are puppies trying to get my attention. Well, yeah. So what I'll do is, again, I'll let you know just kind of first and foremost what the day was like from wake up to this point right now. And I thought, what better way to tell you about my first day making and eating mung bean soup than to invite it into the conversation. So I'm having my third serving today. There are other things that are recommended during this detox, but this guy is the main act. He's the main event, why we are here. And I will let you know that he did not disappoint. So, going to sleep last night was an absolute dream. I noticed that a lot was coming up. I noticed that there was a lot of uncertainty at the end of the day yesterday. I noticed myself getting kind of sucked into things that weren't really aligned, but again, I was very aware of it happening, and I just honored it for what it was, objectively. And then I watched Game of Thrones, and I watched it in kind of this very euphoric state. Like, my cells were vibrating quite vibrantly, and in a way where, again, I felt like I was kind of on MDMA in a way. I was kind of on a euphoric drug. I was also very aware of what was happening in my body, like just kind of densities. They were there pulsating, and then they would dissolve when I brought my awareness to them. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, I laid down to go to sleep. And to be honest, I've never felt, or I can't remember the last time. I wouldn't say never, but I can't remember the last time I was that peaceful. And I didn't feel, again, I didn't have this mass in my body, right? Because I would eat late in the day. I thought that I wouldn't be able to sleep because of the emotions that I was experiencing in the evening, stress, whatever it was. So, buddy, I'm not tugging with you. No tug. He's like trying to give me his tug toy. The dog. But yeah, I just lay there, and I almost kind of didn't want to go to sleep because I was feeling so serene in my body. I could feel all of me, through all of my joints, all at the same time, to the tips of my fingers, tips of my toes. I felt like I was floating. I felt like I was just about to fall asleep on a cloud. Probably the first time that I've felt that. And yeah, again, for the first time, I like actually looked forward to going to sleep. After I was like content with like just basking in my state of bliss, I was just actually looking forward to going to sleep because I knew I I wasn't going to be using energy to digest both food and thoughts, because my thoughts were also cleared. I like allowed those to process, and there wasn't resistance with food and things like that during the day. So all that was left was just time to go unconscious and slip into the dream realm. And this is the thing. Oh, so it felt effortless, right? Because my body isn't digesting or whatever. It was just actually able to rest fully, and it didn't have to digest. It just rested. That's all it actually did. So they always say like, yeah, the parasympathetic rest and digest, but when the digestion's done and you're just resting, man, that's it. Right? It's one of the it's. It's one of the it's of life for sure. And before I get into, I didn't have any crazy dreams or anything, or at least not that I can recall. They say that your dreams become more vivid and things like that. In this moment, I can't really recall. I want to take one more bite before I go into then today when I woke up. So wholesome. Before I eat, I say a prayer. Say a prayer first to nourish my body for the highest good of myself and all. Whenever I eat it, I mean, it's like it's just it instantly penetrates all of my cells. Like it just instantly like permeates. It doesn't feel like this force, like forcing its way through my body. It just feels like, I'm like it's me dissolving into me. It's really nice. It's very organic, very natural. If that makes any sense. Yeah, so I and woke up naturally at like 7 a.m. My body was clearly, typically I roll over and I'm like, I need more sleep. But this time I checked in with my body and it was like, oh, we're good. I actually couldn't like fall back to sleep. I was like, are we really good? My mind was like, and my body was like, yeah. It's like, sweet. Let's do it. Let's go into the day. So I'm going to toss this for this guy. Don't bring it back. Go do your thing. So yeah, I got up, did a little kind of morning routine. I soaked my mung beans overnight. That's what they recommend to do. Soak it, add some baking soda. And I actually went, because in the calendar that we have in our detox plan, it says eat your mung bean soup between 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. So I honestly just went straight into, I let the dogs out briefly. I usually take them on a walk, but I made the soup first. Then I took them on their walk. I put like this meditation that Dr. Naram, this beautiful meditation that I would listen to when I was kind of still in like theta waves in the morning, whatever the wave is, where you're in like you're kind of in between consciousness and unconsciousness. I usually listen to it then, but I was kind of still in that dream state while I was cooking, and so I put that on in the background, and it was really cool hearing his voice. And the kind of one of the forefathers who stewarded this speaking into my ear, and it was one of those very like tedious first times. Maybe like maybe first time making love with another person, and you're just like kind of touching all the places and like poking and like seeing like, oh, like, am I doing it right? It was kind of like that. And yeah, you're welcome for that metaphor. Well, yeah, so just following the recipe to the T, going back and forth between my laptop, all the ingredients. It was definitely a dance. I was like going back and forth, and it really tested both sides of my brain and everything, because you bring the mung beans, you cook those separately in a boil, just like you would pasta or whatever, and then separately in another time frame, you get another pot and you put all the herbs and spices and things like that in there, and then you put that in with ghee, and then you bring that to a simmer. And so I felt like I was just going back and forth. I eventually got in the flow, and yeah, I think I may have overcooked the beans a little bit, because the pictures that I've seen, sometimes it's a little bit lighter of a consistency, but this is more of like an opaque, kind of earthy brown. And the beans are green, but that didn't like affect the taste at all. My intuition told me, oh, Connor, like, this is, you don't want to rinse that out, because this is part of the essence of the beans themselves, and it's the nutrients, and they're nutrients that are going to help you throughout the day. So yeah, it felt really good when it all came together. Combine the beans, combine the ingredients, and I felt really cool, because I was using like fancy ingredients that I've never heard of before and I could barely pronounce. And I was just imagining that I was this, well, not really, I was just this white dude who's creating this ancient recipe from Southeast India. That's actually how it was. It wasn't anything fancy, but the belief meter, it definitely went sky high as I completed the recipe and ate it. And man, what a blessing, especially just because, again, I'd fasted over 24 hours before that. And I'd done prolonged fasting before and then had a meal. If you haven't done that, it just reminds you how much of an art and how much of a gift this food is. It's such a gift. And it's not just here to nourish our bodies. It's here to like have a conversation with us, have an experience with us, have a relationship with us, because it is us. Like, we are our food. And yeah, we didn't get like weird or intimate or anything in a weird way, like eat it off my body or something, but every bite savored. I always like to experiment with different ways of eating it. Like, first I'll suck, I'll not suck, I'll slurp from the tip of the spoon, and sometimes I'll just put it all the way in, just like a big mouthful, and just let it sit, like take in all the. That's what it does, man. That's what these fasting and these detoxes do. They just slow you down. They slow you down to gratitude, and yeah, just the richness of the experience of eating. And I think this is also going to bring value to when I eat with others. I really look forward to making this and sharing this with others. It's going to be so good. And yeah, throughout the day, so many profound things happened. It rippled into amazing business opportunities that opened up. I made some amazing connections and checked in with some people, and the time just slowed down. And it seemed like I was way more productive with my time and energy and attention. I went and made music. I'm working on a song right now that I'm really excited about. It's a funky vibe. What was interesting though is I took my mung bean soup with me to go to my friend's home studio, and I was contemplating whether to wait or whether to eat it right then. My intuition honestly told me to wait. I didn't listen to it, and I got there, and I guess I feel a little bit of a stress in transition sometimes. And so then that came up in my body of just like, all right, I'm going to eat this. I'm just going to eat it. And it would have been fine. But again, I didn't listen to my intuition when I was pouring the soup into the Tupperware. Or no, sorry. Other way around. I was pouring the soup out of the Tupperware into the pot. And my intuition said that's enough. But then I ended up putting like 1 or 2 more scoops. And it made a big difference. It made a noticeable difference where my body was just like, dude. So Dr. Naram always preaches on this, same as Dr. Clint. Food can be medicinal or it can be toxic. Any food, even like onion rings, like fried onions, can be medicinal. They can help you like reduce certain types of headaches. But obviously, if you eat too many, it can then become toxic to the body. So this was really good feedback in listening to my intuitive portion meter, if you will, like my portion threshold. Because after I ate that, it may have also included, I was having a conversation too where my friend was processing things. And so I was kind of empathizing with their emotions too. So that may have been a factor. But I know immediately after I started to have not really soup belly, but it was more of just this kind of inflammatory feeling in my chest. I think it was more from the heat itself. One thing that it did well was I was able to, it warmed up my vocal cords and all the glands and everything here, my instrument. However, this was really hot for some reason. I'm going to go plug in my charger. There we go. So anyway, it just wasn't like super inflammatory noticeable, but it was just noticeable enough because I was about to sing and I want optimal I just want optimal, like, why am I losing words right now? It is later, so my stream of consciousness isn't fully optimized right now. I just wanted everything dialed in. So what I realized is when I started singing and I just started letting it out, and I started expressing myself because we were doing some like crazy runs and harmonies and just like sporadic sound effects in the background. So it dissipated when I did that. So that could be one thing that you do. They do talk about like movement practice. And I would also, if you're going to do this in the future, incorporate like vocal practice too. Really tap into your voice. So yeah, had a lot of fun recording. We're about 70-80% done with the track. We just got some mixing, mastering, maybe a little bit of vocal recording to do left. But overall, it's been such a beautiful day. I noticed when I was coming home that I couldn't really tell whether I was hungry or whether my body like didn't want any mung bean before we went to sleep, before we like winded it down for the night. And so I went and walked the dogs and then fed them. And after that, it became really clear. Hey, Annie. Say hi. It became really clear that yeah, I wanted that for the evening. So here we are, and that's pretty much it. That's all I got for you right now. I'll come back to you for day 3, and day 3 is going to be the same as 2 in terms of the program, where I'm just eating mung bean without any vegetables, and then on day 4 and 5, I'll be able to start incorporating solid food in the form of vegetables. So yeah, thanks for following the journey. I love you so much. And again, drop any comments down below if anything inspired you, if you had any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And go read Ancient Secrets. It'll change your life. Do one of these 7-day detoxes. I can tell you how you can get in on one of these, or you can just do your own. But aside from that, I'll see you on day 3. Much love. Peace out.